In a recent interview, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the interim president of Burkina Faso, addressed critical questions about the country's political transition, the timeline for elections, and his vision for the nation's future. This interview provides a rare glimpse into the mindset of a leader navigating a complex political and security landscape. For my YouTube channel, I want to break down this interview in detail, analyzing Traoré's responses and highlighting the rationale behind his statements. Before diving into the analysis, I want to take a moment to thank all my members and subscribers for your unwavering support. Your engagement and feedback make this channel what it is, and I'm grateful for your continued interest in meaningful discussions about African politics and development. Now, let's listen to the interview.
Mr. President, there has been a long discussion about how long you will stay and when you will organize elections. How long will the transition last? Is it today? Do you have an answer to this, or do you think it is not a priority? For you, how long will Captain Ibrahim Traore be in charge before organizing elections to step down?
I was going to ask you a question in return before answering you.
I'm not here to answer questions.
Sir, it's a debate. It's nice. If today, in 6 months, we decided to abandon the people, you, as a very objective man, aware of our situation, what would you say? What would your comment be?
Honestly, I prefer to stick to that, even though you know my true thoughts.
All right. Since we've been here, we haven't taken a single day off. The whole exec.
But when you say that, politicians say, this is our job, since there are those who do it. They do their job. We want to return to democracy. We want to go back to parliament with people who are elected. We want to let the people speak. Are we staying like this or setting up a new model? They learned here. We don't want them learning elsewhere and applying it here.
To put them on the right track, they learned their profession. This profession is... We don't want people to learn this profession elsewhere and come apply it here. We want to create a model. Because the way things are done here is in fact not the right way.
For you, sir, President, there's no question of talking about organization, about elections and transition.
Yes, we're going to organize the local elections right now.
So we need to reset everything.
No. Aside from the system that's in place, which needs to be reviewed, the elections, they concern all of Burkina Faso. Do you think they are ready today to go to Soleil, to Falangonto, to campaign but they are Burkina-based. They must definitely vote.
First, we need to get the wire through.
There needs to be a minimum level of security so that if there's a campaign, people can go everywhere in Burkina, explain their ideas to the Burkinabe people, and the people will choose, because it's no longer about distributing goods. There will be reforms on the electoral code. It's over, that's it. If you get caught up in this, you will be disqualified. Well, I'm not going to get ahead of Iran in the water, but I can tell you that there are reforms coming. This way of doing things, of buying people's consciences, is over. Our mission is to awaken people's consciousness so that they never accept this again. If you think you can govern the country, you need to explain your political program. What are you going to do? And maybe after a while, the people will evaluate whether you should continue your term or not. In short, we won't say everything, but there will be reforms in the electoral system. And to participate in the elections, all Burkinabés must vote.
Burkina Faso has been in a state of political flux since Captain Ibrahim Traoré assumed power in September 2022, following a coup d'état. The country has faced significant challenges, including a worsening security crisis due to jihadist insurgencies, economic instability, and a lack of trust in previous political institutions. Traoré's leadership has been marked by promises of restoring stability and transitioning back to democratic governance. However, the timeline and process for this transition have remained unclear, leading to questions from both domestic and international observers. The interviewer directly asks Traoré about the duration of the transition period and when elections will be organized. This question is critical, as it touches on the legitimacy of Traoré's government and the future of democracy in Burkina Faso. Traoré's response is both thoughtful and strategic, revealing his priorities and the challenges he faces. One of the most striking aspects of Traoré's response is his focus on responsibility rather than rigid timelines. When asked about the transition period, he responds with a rhetorical question. If today in 6 months we decided to abandon the people, what would you say? This response underscores his commitment to the well-being of the Burkinabe people above all else. Traoré's approach reflects a deep understanding of the precarious situation in Burkina Faso, where premature elections could destabilize the country further. By prioritizing the needs of the people over political expediency, Traoré demonstrates a leadership style that is both pragmatic and principled. His refusal to set arbitrary deadlines for elections shows a willingness to focus on long-term stability rather than short-term political gains. This approach is commendable, especially in a context where the security situation remains volatile and the foundations of democracy need to be rebuilt from the ground up. Throughout the interview, Traoré repeatedly emphasizes the importance of security as a prerequisite for elections. He states, "We need to get the wire through. There needs to be a minimum level of security so that if there's a campaign, people can go everywhere in Burkina." This statement highlights the harsh reality of Burkina Faso's current situation. Large parts of the country remain under threat from jihadist groups, making it difficult to organize free and fair elections. Traoré's focus on security is not only justified but necessary. Without a stable and secure environment, the electoral process would be compromised, and the safety of candidates and voters would be at risk. By linking the transition to security improvements, Traoré is ensuring that elections, when they do occur, will be meaningful and inclusive. This approach reflects a leader who is committed to creating the right conditions for democracy to thrive, rather than rushing into a process that could fail. Another key theme in Traoré's response is his critique of Burkina Faso's existing political system and his vision for systemic reform. He argues that the current model is flawed and needs to be replaced with a new one. "We want to create a model because the way things are done here is in fact not the right way," he says. This statement reflects a deep understanding of the systemic issues that have plagued Burkina Faso's political landscape, including corruption, inefficiency, and a lack of accountability. Traoré's commitment to reforming the electoral code and ending the practice of buying people's consciences is a bold and necessary step toward building a more transparent and accountable political system. His emphasis on creating a new model tailored to Burkina Faso's unique context rather than importing foreign systems is particularly noteworthy. This approach demonstrates a leader who is deeply invested in the long-term development of his country and is willing to take bold steps to achieve it. Traoré's emphasis on the role of the Burkinabe people in the transition process is one of the most compelling aspects of his response. He states, "Our mission is to awaken people's consciousness so that they never accept this again." This statement reflects a genuine desire to empower citizens and foster a more participatory form of democracy. Traoré's vision of an awakened populace is not just rhetoric. It is a call to action for citizens to take ownership of their political future. By prioritizing civic education and consciousness raising, Traoré is laying the groundwork for a more engaged and informed electorate. This approach is essential for building a sustainable democracy that is rooted in the active participation of its citizens. Traoré's commitment to empowering the people is a clear indication that his leadership is not about personal power, but about creating a system that serves the best interests of all Burkinabe. Traoré's interview has significant implications for both Burkina Faso and the broader African continent. His focus on security, systemic reform, and citizen empowerment reflects a holistic approach to leadership that is rooted in the realities of his country. While some may criticize the lack of a clear timeline for elections, it is important to recognize that Traoré's priorities are aligned with the immediate needs of Burkina Faso. For Africa as a whole, Traoré's leadership represents a shift toward leaders who are willing to address systemic issues and prioritize the well-being of their people over political expediency. His approach serves as a reminder that democracy is not just about holding elections, but about creating the conditions for meaningful participation and accountability. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's interview provides a fascinating insight into the complexities of leadership in a time of crisis. His responses reveal a leader who is deeply committed to the well-being of his people and the long-term stability of his country. By prioritizing security, systemic reform, and citizen empowerment, Traoré is laying the foundation for a more inclusive and sustainable democracy in Burkina Faso. As we continue to follow the situation in Burkina Faso, it is essential to support leaders like Traoré who are willing to take bold steps to address the challenges facing their countries. For Voice of Africa, we will keep providing in-depth analyses like this one to help you understand the nuances of African politics and development. Once again, thank you to all my members and subscribers for your support. Your engagement is what drives this channel forward, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Let me know your thoughts on Traoré's interview in the comments below, and don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.